Ivan the Terrible, Nazi death camps, and a retired Cleveland auto worker. Was it a case of mistaken identity? The investigation, the lawyer, and the apparent suicide. Growing evidence that White House brass may have known more than first revealed. And Eye on America. Tonight, women vets of the Vietnam War, fighting for recognition 20 years later.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
Good evening. Dan is on assignment tonight. Our top story, the case of a retired Ohio auto worker accused of being a Nazi death camp guard known as Ivan the Terrible. The Israeli Supreme Court said today there is reasonable doubt that John Demjanjuk was that guard, so the court overturned his conviction and ordered him freed. Correspondent Bob Simon covered the trial.
The trial, which was designed to educate a new generation of Israelis about the horrors of the Holocaust, ended today with a verdict of not guilty. John Demjanjuk walked out of Israel's Supreme Court a free man, almost. His lawyer requested that for his own safety, he be returned to the cell he's occupied for 7.5 years, until he's got somewhere else to go.
It's a real relief, and it's finally an end to this 16-year nightmare for this family.
Demjanjuk was sent to death row 5 years ago, convicted of running the gas chambers at the death camp Treblinka, of being the infamous Ivan the Terrible. But KGB documents discovered during the appeal suggested that the real Ivan was not Demjanjuk at all, that it was a classic case of mistaken identity. The most difficult problem for the judges today was how to tell the Treblinka survivors who'd fingered Demjanjuk early in the trial that they may have been wrong. They reacted with grief and fury. Today, I'm not sure it was worth surviving, he said.
So why should a Nazi murderer go free? I don't understand the court. I really don't understand.
There's convincing evidence, the judges wrote, that Demjanjuk worked as a guard at Sobibor and other death camps. But he didn't have a chance to defend himself against those charges, so the court decided that while he's not innocent, he will be free.
The bottom line is the result, and that is that he's acquitted and he's going to be a free man, and that's all that matters to us.
But what now? The Israelis are deporting him. The Justice Department said this afternoon it will oppose letting him return to the United States. He'll probably go to his native Ukraine, but his family says just for a while. They plan to fight on. Today was not Demjanjuk's last day in court. So the case that began in America and then moved to Israel is now, after 7.5 years, going back to the United States. A federal court in Cincinnati will soon begin hearing John Demjanjuk's appeal to be allowed to go home. Bob Simon, CBS News, Jerusalem.
Also in the Mideast, no end to the hostilities in southern Lebanon. Israeli forces pounded suspected Islamic guerrilla targets for a 5th straight day and moved scores of tanks and armored personnel carriers across the border. The fighting has driven hundreds and thousands of civilians from their homes and left at least 100 people dead. The Israeli government says it is ready to stop the attacks in exchange for guarantees that the Iranian-backed Hezbollah guerrillas will stop firing rockets into northern Israel. There was a U.S. airstrike in Iraq today. 2 U.S. Navy fighter jets patrolling the southern no-fly zone fired on Iraqi anti-aircraft missile sites. The Pentagon says Iraq had been tracking the U.S. planes on radar, which is considered a hostile act. Pressure from the United Nations reached the Bosnian peace talks in Geneva today, one day after President Clinton threatened to use U.S. warplanes to protect UN peacekeepers in Bosnia. The warring parties agreed to a truce. Our chief European correspondent, Tom Fenton, has the story.
Serbs, Croats, and Muslims broke their session to publicly endorse the ceasefire.
Whoever continue to fight is irresponsible, totally irresponsible.
Whether they can make this ceasefire stick is an open question, but the wind has suddenly changed in Geneva. The warring parties have begun playing ethnic monopoly, offering to swap bits of land to build their mini-states.
If we continue to work step by step, we could get solution.
Mediators are trying to wrap up these deals in a compromise plan for 3 loosely federated states. Any map will have to reflect the reality on the ground, where each side is grabbing what it can. There are no signs yet that a general ceasefire has taken hold. But the American threat to use air power has sent a strong message. The Muslims see the NATO planes now on standby to protect UN troops as a guarantee the ceasefire will work.
It's going to fly as long as the U.S. maintains the pressure. That's the real secret.
The catch is that any signs of progress may encourage the UN to delay implementing the airstrike plan, and that could lead the Serbs to believe that this is just another empty Western threat. Tom Fenton, CBS News, London.
Little by little, new details are emerging about the apparent suicide of Deputy White House counsel Vincent Foster. Under growing pressure and questions, White House officials are still adjusting their story of what they knew about Foster's mental state and when they knew it. Law correspondent Rita Braver broke some of the new details last night. She has the latest from Washington.
The White House today confirmed a CBS News report that a note had been found written by the late Deputy White House counsel Vincent Foster and indicating that Foster was deeply troubled over his job. Press Secretary Dee Myers described the note as a series of items, not a suicide letter.
The only thing I'll say that I can say about it is that I think it did show him to be in a distressed state of mind or troubled state of mind per work. And beyond that, I really can't comment. No, it was really work-related.
And for the first time, the White House revealed that the note, found torn in pieces at the bottom of Foster's briefcase on Monday night by a White House aide, was not turned over to investigators until Tuesday. The White House said officials first wanted to inform Foster's family and President Clinton of its contents. But the White House refused to publicly release the contents of the note, saying that it was following orders of the Park Police and the Justice Department. The administration did not disclose the existence of the note until CBS News raised questions about it. In fact, many of the administration's statements on the case have seemed inconsistent, but White House officials insist that is because they are still piecing together the events leading up to Foster's death. But it wasn't until this week that the president revealed that he had invited Foster to a movie a few days before he died and had an appointment to meet Foster that Foster never kept because of the suicide. The White House today refused comment on a New York Times report that Foster had recently taken antidepressant medication, but disputed claims that he'd spent many reclusive weekends working at home in bed with the shades drawn. And with the revelation that the White House did not inform investigators of the existence of the new note for a whole day, there are also growing questions about just how independent the Justice Department's investigation really is. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.
Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, Dr. Bob Arnott with the government's crackdown on claims made for vitamins and other supplements. And baseball may be a little boy's game, but a lot of fans are saying it's time to grow up.
Day one in the middle of nowhere. The meals have been superb. It's a good thing they have a fitness program aboard every Royal Caribbean ship. Maybe I'll work out tonight before dinner. Maybe I won't. There was something about the streamers at our Bon Voyage party that told me this is going to be the vacation of a lifetime.
You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
So frustrating. I don't know why we can't get the receptor to... Are you done with...
Most people think we make medicines. Actually, our job is to find them.
I'm going to lunch. You coming? No, I want to get this gel running. I'll see you down there then.
On the brink of discovery, Glaxo.
Yes, there it is.
On Capitol Hill, congressional negotiators still don't have a done deal tonight on a deficit reduction plan. They say they hope to nail down a compromise version of the president's economic package by sometime tomorrow. Biggest single problem? They can't agree on a new gasoline tax. Many of the nation's economists do agree that today's government report on U.S. economic growth turned out to be even worse than they expected, and their expectations weren't all that high to begin with. Money correspondent Ray Brady has that story.
Americans were spending again, buying appliances, even autos, but it wasn't enough. The gross domestic product, the nation's report card on the economy, rose just 0.7% in the first quarter, and in the most recent 3 months grew a skimpy 1.6%. That's below the 2% or better needed to create more jobs.
The economy is in poor shape. It's just barely holding on.
The Clinton administration says its economists put a bright face on today's figures.
They're looking at, potential for some real growth here.
Talk to anyone here in Kankakee, Illinois. You'll see one reason why the economy is sluggish. Business here and elsewhere is not boosting output.
They're somewhat cautious because of healthcare costs, and they are using temporary help.
Kankakee shows you both sides of this country's economy. A new building going up, near an old business going out, and two brothers, one spending, one not, though both are working long hours in construction. Marvin is buying.
TVs, VCRs, and dining room set.
But brother Steve... Have you bought anything lately?
No, not really. I got 4 kids from 6 to 18.
He sees the economy putting people back to work, but at $5 and $6 an hour jobs.
I don't know how they can make it.
It's psychology, worry about the future, that's helping put a damper on this economy. As one economist puts it, the economic recovery is continuing, but it's like a steak without a sizzle. Ray Brady, CBS News, New York.
One sector of the economy that is sizzling is the sale of vitamins and other health supplements. Today, however, the government warned that a lot of the health claims made about them are unproven. CBS News health correspondent Dr. Bob Arnott first investigated and broke this story last May. Tonight, he reports the latest developments.
Americans spend $4 billion a year on vitamin supplements that promise to do just about everything. Treat disease, increase sexual stamina, and improve memory. Today, the FDA released a blistering report charging the vitamin industry is misleading the public.
We are back at the turn of the century when snake oil salesmen could hawk their potions with promises that couldn't be kept. We have a serious problem.
The FDA exposed 500 commonly available vitamin supplements that make unsubstantiated health claims to the unsuspecting consumer. Here are just a few. Aloe vera to treat AIDS, licorice to prevent AIDS, alfalfa to treat arthritis, and vitamin B12 to reverse brain damage.
Individuals are extremely vulnerable, and they do make an assumption that what they hear and what is being said is true and proven.
A recent CBS News investigation found that even when a supplement makes no medical claim on the bottle, health food store employees fabricate some of their own, like fish oil capsules to cure arthritis.
What will it do? It'll cure my arthritis?
Vitamin advocates say the FDA is alarming the public rather than encouraging the use of many supplements which have known health benefits.
The rise of the use of dietary supplements signals the desire of consumers to take personal responsibility and choice for their own health.
While Congress decides exactly what it's going to do about this largely unregulated industry, the FDA has already taken action against nearly 200 different companies for making false claims. And today it issued this guide available to consumers to help them sort out fact from fiction. Dr. Bob Arnott, CBS News, New York.
Stay with us for much more CBS Evening News, including a lifetime of memories washed away in a few minutes of heartbreak.
Only good, healthy things grow in Mrs. Dash's garden, where Mrs. Dash has created a salt-free blend of 14 herbs and spices that give food a livelier, zestier flavor. Mrs. Dash, a garden of flavors in 6 varieties instead of salt.
When we asked some denture wearers why they don't use an adhesive, they didn't have a lot to say.
Don't need it.
My dentures fit fine. No problems here.
But after we gave them Fix-A-Dent, they just couldn't say enough.
It's amazing, the difference.
Even the tough places feel terrific.
I didn't know they could feel this good. It's almost like I have my own teeth back.
Now I feel comfortable getting close.
It's a great new feeling of security.
Comfort.
Confidence.
I just plain forget I have them.
That's because Fix-A-Dent adjusts to the unique contours of your dentures and gums, forming a thin, powerful seal for a better hold than you ever thought possible.
I'm not afraid of getting close to people anymore.
I could always eat steak. Now I can enjoy it.
I could just kick myself for not doing this soon.
Find out for yourself what it feels like to Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
If you're one of the millions with common arthritis pain, there are people here with important information for you. The Arthritis Foundation is America's expert on arthritis. And now, thanks to the makers of Tylenol, valuable information that can help you lead a more active life with less pain is just a phone call away. Call 1-800-888-4846. Tylenol and the Arthritis Foundation. Together, we can help.
How long did you save for your summer vacation? Calls going first class for next to nothing. Too bad it's a scam.
Eye to Eye with Connie Chung tonight.
The rain is gone in the Midwest, but there is still plenty of flooding and the threat of more. The waters of the Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers are heading toward a meeting in St. Louis, expected to produce a record-high crest of 48 feet next Tuesday. Upriver, the Mississippi is receding north of Hannibal, and the Missouri River is falling above Kansas City. In Des Moines, Iowa, along with the dry-up comes the cleanup. An entire football team playing water boy, hauling sludge out of houses. There is little left to salvage in some river towns like Elwood, Kansas, swallowed up by the Missouri River. Correspondent Sandra Hughes is there.
It's just unbelievable, really.
You're not going to stop that Missouri River.
Elwood, Kansas, population 1,300, is now part of the Missouri River. The levee protecting the town gave way, filling homes and businesses with 13 feet of water.
In 30 minutes, this town was covered.
It came so quickly, some residents weren't even able to save their family pets. And it hit Elwood harder than any other town in Kansas.
We eat breakfast right there, I don't know how many days, every morning.
During the day.
Now it's gone.
Oh, it's gone, yeah.
The river can't take their memories, but it has taken almost everything else.
My kids want a home.
Some of Elwood's residents gathered last night for the first time after the flood's devastation to vent frustrations and to watch a home video of their town.
It's pretty devastating. It is for all of them. I mean, everybody lost. Total loss.
Mayor Sue Bartley was too busy preparing the town for disaster to save anything of her own. The home video was the first time she saw her home, RV, and business all destroyed.
It's hard to believe, but officials say the worst of the destruction here in Elwood is still to come. That's because when the water recedes, the shifting pressure could cause homes and businesses here to collapse.
But the water isn't expected to go down for 3 weeks. People won't be able to get back into these homes for months. Some businesses will never recover. Even with headlines like this, Mayor Bartley refuses to believe all is lost.
We're going to rebuild. We're going to make us another city.
But they may never feel truly protected from the river again. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Elwood, Kansas.
Chili, fries, coffee.
You better add on some Tums.
On the house.
Except these aren't Tums.
Same thing.
You got them all mixed up.
I told you, they're all the same.
Listen to me. Tums has calcium. Is this calcium? No. It uses aluminum and magnesium. So does this. This here, Original Roll-Ins, uses an aluminum salt. The only one of these that helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium you need is Tums.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
Insist on calcium-rich Tums.
Everton users, what would get you to switch to new Denture Cream?
If it got my dentures cleaner.
Denture Cream cleans twice as clean as Everton.
If it got them fresher.
Now Denture Cream is even mintier.
Cleaner.
Fresher.
Better. Switch to new Denture Cream.
Where are we going to buy a new floor? A home center?
Not there.
A carpet store? A discount store?
Nope, we're going to Color Tile's wall-to-wall summer clearance with up to 50% off. Wall-to-wall carpet, only $7.99 installed.
Hey, nothing for 6 months.
No wax vinyl tile, just 49 cents each. 8 terrific styles.
Imported ceramic tile, now only 59 cents each.
Gorgeous wood parquet, lowest price of the year, 29 cents each.
Wall coverings, buy one, get one free. Stunning patterns.
Mini blinds, buy one, get 4 free.
Up to 50% off carpet,
vinyl,
ceramic,
wood floors,
wall coverings,
and windows, so why go anywhere else?
Color Tiles wall-to-wall summer clearance. No payment, no interest for 6 months.
Hurry.
Sale ends Monday.
New guidelines for exercise. They just might give you the willpower you need. And Wesley Snipes with another box office hit. Tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paul Azan.
In Washington today, the Senate Judiciary Committee voted to endorse Ruth Bader Ginsburg's nomination to the U.S. Supreme Court. The vote was unanimous. The full Senate is expected to approve the nomination next week. Big-name Washington lawyer Robert Altman won a big legal victory today at his own criminal trial. A New York State judge threw out the most serious charges against Altman in connection with the BCCI scandal, the world's biggest bank fraud case ever. Among other things, Altman was at one time a key legal advisor to BCCI. In Los Angeles, officials are still trying to decide tonight whether to bring formal criminal charges against an outfielder for the New York Mets baseball team. Correspondent Anthony Mason has that story.
2.5-year-old Amanda Santos was hit by the firecracker Sunday as she was leaving Dodger Stadium.
The device exploded and debris struck little Amanda on the right side of her face.
New York Mets outfielder Vince Coleman allegedly threw the firecracker at a group of fans as he was driving off.
It was a scream that
we've never heard
both
before.
Both of us have never heard her, you know, the pain.
Innocent fans weren't the only victims, so was the image of the game.
Can you imagine Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig or Mickey Mantle or any of the great old-time players ever going up to their fans and acting in this manner?
The New York Mets management says they can't be held responsible for Coleman's off-field actions, but right now they're not letting him on the field.
You won't see him today.
Why?
Because he's benched.
Coleman's antics are only the latest woe for a team of millionaires fumbling in last place, on course to lose 100 games and branded by the media the worst team in baseball.
For the press, it's been an uncomfortable season in the Mets clubhouse. Earlier in the week, an unidentified player tossed Clorox at reporters in the locker room. Earlier in the month, journalists found firecrackers landing at their feet.
Just a practical joke, said the all-star pitcher who threw them.
The practical joke didn't go over too well.
Coleman formally apologized today.
Sincerely, I never had any intentions on hurting or harming anyone.
The management of the Mets is very frustrated right now. I mean, you would be too if you were managing this ball club.
Maybe the Mets will win it.
Last night, when pitcher Anthony Young finally won his first game after losing a record 27 straight, the Mets had something to celebrate. But a one-game winning streak isn't likely to repair their battered image and bad name. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Shea Stadium.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, Eye on America. Women who fought in Vietnam still fighting more than 20 years later.
Any kids around there, Jane?
Sorry, Billy, not your age.
A little earlier, Jane Stewart was troubled with arthritis pain, so she took a Motrin IB, the same medicine as the Motrin doctors have prescribed for years, but in non-prescription strength. And just one Motrin IB is as effective as 2 regular aspirin.
All right, kid. Let's see what you got.
And Jane?
Come on.
Motrin IB, the relief of Motrin in non-prescription strength.
I feel very confident when Pedigree comes out with a new dog food that it's going to be well tested and well thought out.
Pam Lefevre, top breeder of champion English setters, talks about new Pedigree mealtime with rice and vegetables.
When you look at the dog food, you see the meaty kibbles plus the rice and the peas and carrots. I think that the mealtime with rice and vegetables is a really balanced dog food, and I mix it with Pedigree canned meat. My dogs love this combination. When it comes to nutrition, nothing beats Pedigree.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
You're about to see another side of Effordent. 2-layered Effordent. The white side helps clean and deodorize with Arm & Hammer baking soda. The blue side also has more mint to provide more freshening power than ever before, making this the best Effordent ever. 2-layered Effordent. Clean, fresh dentures come out of the blue.
I was worried I needed surgery for my hemorrhoids. I was itching, and the burning was so painful. But my doctor said they weren't serious. I didn't need surgery, and to use Preparation H. She specifically said Preparation H by name. That's what I trust, and that's what I'll use.
Preparation H, trusted by millions to often help relieve the hemorrhoidal symptoms of itching, burning, and painful irritation for hours.
I feel great. I'm glad I trusted Preparation H.
Trust doctor-recommended Preparation H.
Women have been a part of the U.S. military all the way back to the Revolutionary War, when they served as nurses and cooks. But there has never been an official monument to American military women until now. Ground was broken in Washington today for a monument to the women who served in Vietnam. Wyatt Andrews has the story in tonight's Eye on America.
A lot of young men who were blown to bits. You knew you couldn't help some of them. Sometimes all you could do was just hold them. And you wanted to do so much more.
When he died, I was holding his hand, and his hand just, let go. When you go through an experience like that with someone, a part of you goes with him. Jane Carson and Diane Evans are veterans of Vietnam.
What's your unit?
Like most of the 11,000 women who served in Vietnam, they were nurses. Nurses who once felt forced to deny they were there. One of the comments that was made to me after I got home was that I was no better than the soldiers who were killing because I was oiling the war machine.
Why would a woman come home and not talk to her family about Vietnam?
Just like the men, no one would want to hear about it. They called us the invisible veterans.
Let's dig! They shook off that invisibility today. Diane Evans, founder of the Vietnam Women's Memorial, broke ground on the first ever national monument to American women at war. The statue will depict 3 women and a wounded soldier Joint Chiefs Chairman Colin Powell says was once him.
I knew you as nurses when you cared for those who were wounded. How much of your heart did you leave there? How often were you the mother for a kid asking for mom in the last few seconds of his life? How many 19-year-old sons did you lose?
At first, the women veterans were asked if they'd accept a nice plaque somewhere. Then they were offered some dedicated park benches. To get a full-fledged monument with a statue here within sight of the Vietnam Wall took them 10 years.
Or maybe it took 200 years for a capitol adorned with the strivings and triumphs of men to realize that women too have served and died and need to remember. As I look at the monument, of course I see myself. I'm that nurse tending to that wounded soldier.
She's kneeling, and I often found myself. I don't know if it's despair, but it was in prayer, hoping this whole thing would end.
Today, farmerettes put crops to seed under the...
For 10 years, the women veterans fought the image that women only face war at home. The WACs marched off to typewriters, remember? Rosie the Riveter's weapon was a wrench. That changed in Vietnam. Just ask the men.
If they were there, they were in combat. It was all around you.
These women, they deserve it, just like we deserved it. Like I almost feel like crying, It's just so great.
She's a veteran of 3 wars.
They use the same shovel today that they used to break ground for the wall.
Finally, 10 years later, here we are.
A recognition for all women there is equality in what they offered their country.
I think it's going to help a lot of women finally feel proud of what they did in Vietnam and say, welcome home.
In Washington, Wyatt Andrews for Eye on America.
And that's our news. Later tonight, be sure to join us for Eye to Eye. If you're looking for a bargain vacation this summer, we've found one, but it's quite a scam. A hidden camera investigation. Also a story about a man and a woman who met in the Navy, but made the mistake of falling in love. That's Eye to Eye, tonight at 9, 8 Central. Dan Rather will be back tomorrow night. Thank you for joining us, and for all of us at CBS News, good night.
CBS News.
You've seen the pictures, a $25 billion levee system in collapse. But is the problem the levees or the idea behind them? Eye on America.